Good afternoon, everybody. Today we're going to go over homework 11.1a, which is triangle notes. Make sure you have your paper out and ready and something to write with. You will need to pause the video and replay it to make sure that you complete all of the notes before class tomorrow. This is due tomorrow on Tuesday. Okay, to start off, we're going to talk about some basic information about triangles. First of all triangles have 3 sides and 3 angles. Again, that's true about all triangles, no matter what specific type of triangle it is. They all have 3 sides and 3 angles. The 3 angles in a triangle always add up to 180 degrees. Triangles can be classified or named by their sides and their angles. So if we are able to name triangles by their sides and their angles, you can kind of think of that as a triangle having a first and a last name like you. You can always give them 2 names, first and a last name, their side name and their angle name. The tick marks are little lines that you might see on some of the sides of a triangle, or curved lines, which you would see on the inside of a triangle on the angles. Those lines indicate which sides or angles are congruent to you. Remember, congruent means that they have the same measure. So you can see on this triangle here, it has these little tick marks or lines. That means that this side and this side are equal to each other or have the same degree measure. These curved lines on the angles tell us that these 3 angles in the triangle have the exact same degree measure. That would mean that those 3 angles are congruent. These 2 sides of the triangle are congruent. So in Power Standard number 11, you must be able to name a triangle based on its sides and its angles. So you have to be able to give it its first and its last name. You must know what the tick marks and curved lines on a triangle mean, because sometimes that's all that we will give you to show you that certain things are congruent, and that helps you determine what type of triangle it is. So how are we going to name them? Well, first of all, we can classify or name triangles by their angles. In order to do that, we have 3 different names. You could name it an acute triangle, which is a triangle that has 3 acute angles, or it could be a right triangle, which is a triangle with 1 right angle and then 2 acute angles. So as long as it has at least 1 right angle, it is a right triangle. Okay, an obtuse triangle is a triangle with 1 obtuse angle and 2 acute angles. So if one of the angles is obtuse, that makes it an obtuse triangle, and the rest of them will be acute. Okay, once we name a triangle based on its angle, we can also name it based on its sides. So in order to name a triangle based on its sides, we could have what's called an equilateral triangle, which is a triangle with 3 congruent sides, meaning an equilateral triangle has all 3 sides that have the same measure, and it also has 3 congruent angles. So an equilateral triangle, you can think of the word equal in it, meaning all 3 sides have the same measure and all 3 angles have the same measure. An isosceles triangle is a triangle with 2 congruent sides, so 2 of the sides have the same measure, and it also will then have 2 congruent angles. A scalene triangle is a triangle with no congruent sides and no congruent angles. So again, a scalene means that none of the sides are equal or the same measure, and none of the angles are the same measure. Okay, make sure you have all of your notes written in, and then we will practice actually naming some of these triangles in class on your homeworks. So make sure that you have these notes complete and ready to go. See you tomorrow.